Yeah, as long as it's not. I like Bobby the role player, but holy fuck, Bobby running the meeting is like death. I'm just being honest. All right. So, I don't know if there's really much we got to talk about, to be honest. So
I got a couple of bits, but
okay, let's start with you.
Nothing crazy. Firstly, are you happy with me to go ahead with re-looking into the whole weed dispensary stuff?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
I think we will. Let's refund them.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's rewrite the legislation so that it takes cultivation and dispensary and puts it into one. In fact, also takes the moonshine stuff. Moonshine and weed and whatever should all be combined into one document.
Okay, I'll give it a go, but I'll most likely be needing Sarah and Michael's help because, yeah, that seems like a lot, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah, you got this. I don't think it's going to be too much trouble because I think the main thing is you're taking the meat of those documents and just putting it into one. And I think what it would be is like Article 1, weed. Section A, dispensary stuff. Section B, cultivation stuff. Article 2, moonshine, right?
Okay, I'll get on it.
Yeah, and then like once you've got that relayed out, you know, put the bits in there that I think need changing. What do you think, Serenade?
I think it's doable based on what you want to collapse everything, right? And you can, I think it's doable that you can do that under a
controlled substance regulation.
I would say regulated substance, but
yes,
I mean, yeah, because some of them are controlled in other factors than like alcohol regulation is going to be different than like marijuana or like prescription stuff. You know what I mean? So
agreed.
Speaking of that, do you think it's worth getting Perry Watson to take in the situation too?
Nah.
No?
Because the collapsing is all up to us. As for I don't know what you particularly want to do with weed, but
I just think the way it was done with just handing it out to certain people and people paying a premium for it, and then realistically we've got like one dispensary that's Jason's, and that's, you know, not really that open. I feel like we do it through applications, and whoever seems the most motivated and the most interested by it and has all the, you know, right fundamentals and everything to go alongside it works the best, in my opinion.
I'm down to try something else. I also want to refund everyone of their weed licenses because I think it's a failed project. Let's get them their money back. Yeah. But the problem is, like, I want you to. The first thing I think we need is, I would do that, you know, do the collapsing first, and then, I think you should work on it with Signy, actually, the collapsing thing. So then both of you guys kind of have get some experience for, like, because it's not new legislation. You're collapsing it first, right? And seeing what that process is, I think, is important. And then how you want to change it and alter it, you'll then have a place to do that.
Okay, cool. I'll get cooking on it.
Okay.
Two other bits. Remedy Creed called me yesterday about how you having a meeting with the mechanics. Do you want me to just hold it and say you're busy and just get the core information?
What time is I'm not setting up the meeting. I think she was gonna. Yeah, I would set up a meeting time for it, and I can attempt to attend.
Okay.
A lot of it is I don't even fucking know, if I'm gonna be honest. It sounds like there's like a material war, and like people, like I got off a phone call with some of the material folks, like one material person. They're like, oh my god, quantum selling at this price, and da 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 da, and like and I'm like, I don't think the government should come in and like regulate pricing. I think that's really bad, because if we're going to do that, we might as well take over all the material ourselves, which doesn't make any sense.
It's not good for the market, and it just fucks shit up basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can be there to like hear them out and like understand what their particular issues are.
Okay, I'll try and organize one for later today if that works with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Last thing, there's someone who needs their business license approved. I think it was Trojan Insurance.
I will take a look at those coming in. By the way, I think if we're going to do a meeting, it's going to either have to be early today or it's going to be till I'm back on Saturday.
Cool.
I'd say Sunday should be the meeting, just to be safe.
Remedy said ideally before Thursday. So
I'm not going to be around. I think otherwise you're going to have to.
I can hold down the fort if you
up.
need me to.
Yeah, you can. I mean, just let them know that I'm going to be out like tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, more than likely. Well, half day tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, I'll be out-ish. So
yeah, I'll hold on the fort and then I'll just get back to you. Get back to Saturday.
The other thing too is I think Jason needs to attend.
Yes.
And we need to talk to Jason because people are throwing out accusations like MOPEC isn't running, but I know damn well it must be because I've been paying for that stuff out of the county account. I think what's happening is like people are crying that the material prices are going up and they want MOPEC to give all of it, but we can't do that. We're just supplementary. So I don't know. Something's happening. I just don't know what it is.
All right, I'll
or it could be legitimate. I mean, maybe,
picture.
like, I mean, I don't know. Can you see when Jason's gonna be around? I think.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's pretty much everything from me. But I got plenty to do now, so I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Hell yeah.
Nino, I made a couple minor adjustments, mostly just like punctuation to the traffic ordinance. I mean, as far as what you explained to me, the Article 3 is kind of primarily what you want to push here. I will say, though, I did mull over it for quite a while. And I do just want to, like, I understand that we're here to help push your agenda as, you know, an elected official.
Yes.
And rightfully so. I do want to lodge my objections once again to the timeliness of this method. And I do hear and understand.
Okay.
I'm just thinking that we're going to run up against a time wall that the longer we piecemeal things, the more we won't accomplish by the end of the term.
So I think to that point, and maybe I'm misunderstanding here, but I think this is in regards to you want to send out you want to push out the expectations of the driver and expectations of the police at the same time.
More so that we push out the traffic ordinances for the county as a whole, as, you know, in its final state, rather than piecemealing things together to, you know, form the shape. Because I understand that like, one of your concerns that you brought to me was everything being contested, right? And I do get that, and that is a likely issue that we may run into.
Yeah.
I think we have more than enough justification, though, that if someone does put forth a contest, that the courts will rule that it's under our purview as the Los Santos County Mayor's office and I don't think any of it's done in bad faith.
I'm very confused.
So if we put forward a couple piecemeal things here
Yeah.
and there, over a week or two, right? If we do get a contest, I think that the contest should be resolved sooner.
There's a bigger thing at play here, Serenade, and that is we, as the mayor's office, are introducing the mechanism of bills, and bills are effectively designed to be piecemeal, so that each one of those things is addressing something separately, and we're moving away from wide sweeping legislative changes, and so it's not even like, I get that you have a different methodology in mind, but it would be going against what we've been working on over the last 3 weeks, and also the expectations we've set for the DOJ, that we would be showcasing how these bills work before they start to get utilized by the other legislative authorities and those in the future. So if we were to go back on our word there, then we would it would effectively make us look like we're acting under with bad faith. But I am not but, and I want to kind of repoint this out, is that you could literally send both of these things on the same day, because the bill that you would be putting forward, if you look at the example bill that's on City Hall, you can send both bills out, one for the law enforcement, and then one for the expectation of the driver. You know what I mean? So because they're sent out the same day, there would be no time constraint, right? Because the first bill would just be, bill number, give me a sec. You would do bill number CH23, whatever, and it'll be like introduction of, expectations of law enforcement, or whatever you want to call it, like a title. And in the implementation, you would say adding Article 5, or appending Article 3, protection against law enforcement, and all that bill is saying is you're adding in a new article and what that article content is. And then you do the other bill and you'd say appending Article, 6. And you get what I'm saying? Like, does that kind of make sense? Like, what I'm suggesting here? It's actually going to be less work.
So I think it's less work in the immediate, right? But I'm worried about it becoming too cumbersome and then leading to the time constraints that we might. I'm just worried. I want us to be able to enact everything that we're trying to do. You know what I mean?
I think we 100% can. Like, in fact, I think you should send out both bills today, to be honest, and they'll probably both go through. It's more important. I think your concern is valid. But like I said, there's like a bigger thing at play here, which is we've introduced this bill system that is intended to aim for more efficiency and transparency. And if we start to go against that mandate that we've already agreed to, it would look really bad for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to balance the optics side of things. And for me, I just think let's say we go through all of this, right? And then we audit our work, just, an internal audit of our work. I think we'll find through a redundancy check that the work will not be lessened by what we're doing.
Isn't it just copy paste though? Like, I guess I may not see, maybe I don't really see the, so take a look at Criminal Code of San Andreas, thefts and robberies. Actually, that's a bad one. Give me a second. Take a look at legislative contest period.
Okay.
So, like, it's going to be less. Both of the bills are going to be less than this. The purpose is, why are we doing it? The detail, very simple. And then the implementation is just the content of the legislative change. So it's just a different format for what you're doing.
It just, and you know, apologies if I don't have, like, because I'm trying to, you know, visualize what you are here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and no need to apologize. I mean, you weren't here for the bill discussion, so.
I'm just having a difficult time at the moment visualizing how this will end up being less cumbersome, because I think
can I help with this and maybe push these bills on your behalf? And that way, when I think if you see it, and I understand that, I think that's why myself and Michael wanted to handle it ourselves, because I think seeing it in action is going to make a lot more sense, because otherwise we're sort of like describing a new process without any real examples available.
Okay.
And
well, you know, and then I will defer to your lead on that.
Yes.
Try and integrate.
Absolutely. I think the best way to do it, this is my opinion, is write it all up in the Los Santos traffic ordinances. And once, like, so how do you want it to look? Like, how do you want the finalized product to look? Have that in Los Santos traffic ordinances. And then once that is done, I will go ahead and create the appropriate bills with those changes in mind. How does that sound?
All right. Well, I have the traffic ordinances. I think everything that's in there already, even though that in its entirety isn't done, I think everything that you want is already in there. So, you know, if you want to go ahead and proceed with that, then
okay, easy. All right, perfect. Okay, and it's just those two things. There's the you mean the in the Word document?
Yeah. Well, yeah. In reports, right, where you added Article 3, right? You piecemealed that in there. I mean, I think that's likely just ready to send if you want to do that.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I can do that. Did you want to put the other one in there as well?
I think it balances, you know, for clarity purposes, right? So that way, so like the driver and occupant responsibilities and obligations, right? That's, I believe, is important as to how it will pertain to any cases brought to the court. Because if it's not in there and we don't outline these as well, right, then we're the court is effectively running off of, well, defense counsel in this, right, or the plaintiff's counsel in this civil suit here, right, is freewheeling. It doesn't allow for a solid ground with which the DOJ to, you know, make a ruling from.
If I'm understanding this correctly, you're saying in order for rulings to make sense, we need that other piece. They go hand in hand?
Yeah, in terms of like standardizing traffic stops and how they will pertain to that incident, and then, you know, pursuant to any civil claims that happen later, right? The plaintiff is, let's say, you know, a defense attorney, you know, files a civil suit on behalf of a citizen who was arrested, right?
I see. Okay, so I didn't have this perspective before. It sounded, so you're saying without that other piece, it is going to be very difficult to enforce the protection against unlawful stops.
Yeah, I think it will lead to complications with it.
Okay, I think if that's the case, then kind of going back to it, is that I think I want you to go into Los Santos Traffic Ordinance Act, and I want you to push that into there. Like take the meat that you think is important and put it in here, and like just like put in what you think needs to be in there for the law to make sense.
I think at least in terms of what we have so far, those two things are really the meat of it.
What are the which two things? Oh, the
driver and occupant obligations, and then the officer obligations. You know, the protection against unlawful
I got
stop.
you. So just copy and pasting that, I guess.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think it's just really it's very, very beneficial to have them outlined, and the repercussions of not having that in there as well could lead to unforeseen things.
Okay, let's do this live right now, and you tell me if I'm seeing this right. Give me a sec. Okay. Oh shit! I didn't copy it. Jonas, thank you for the 3 months, brother. Wait, what am I looking at? Traffic ordinances. Is this gonna be the one under April 30th? San Andreas traffic infraction regulation?
Yeah. It would be under section 1 there. Driver and passenger obligation.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks like there's some other stuff in this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how, like, because the criminal code, theft and robberies, that was not originally in there. I'm not sure how that got there, to be honest. So.
Oh, yeah, it's got a bunch of like felonies and stuff. I think maybe someone accidentally copied and pasted something.
Yeah, I think that's what might have happened.
Is there a way to undo that by any chance? You see like a ignore like something? Oh, I think I did that. What the fuck? Oh wait, maybe I didn't?
There we go.
Easy. All right. Okay, I'm gonna. All right, let me take a look at this. Okay, so here's what I think we should do. Let me redo this Los Santos traffic ordinance. If you guys could all pull up Los Santos Traffic Ordinances Act under reports, and I'm gonna talk through like re-chopping this up. So, hold on. Let me make it a little bit easier to chat while I'm going through this. So, a couple things. I'm gonna go and take a. All right, heading 1. So first off, this is. I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna do a couple things with this bill, and I think this will make life a little bit easier. Is number 1. We're gonna do this. We're gonna clean this up just a little bit, because the way that this is chopped up is a little odd. So I'm gonna go stop and go. Hold on. There we go. Gonna grab this. all this stuff, because I think when this was first done, I don't know why it ended up this way, but it did, which is fine. But it should be written actually more like the following. What was that under enforcement, I believe? So it should actually be like this. Section B, Section A. We'll just call it like description, and then Section B should be enforcement, because an article is, in theory, is a like a subsection, like it's a section of the overall act, right? Article, boom, boom, and then we're gonna go in here, go Section A, give that heading 3, call this description. There might be a better header that we can use there, so if you guys got any ideas, feel free to let me know. Instead of it being jammed down here, very difficult to read, I think. Stop and go enforcement, and this is section, and then go down here, and we'll call this Section B, and enforcement, and boom, boom. And then let's go ahead and remove this guy right over there, and then we'll go ahead and go like this. And go like this. Okay. All right, that's good right there. And then move this guy, bump that over there, turn this into A and B, bump that there, boop, boop. So, to kind of walk through this a little bit as a part of the bill, I'm going to say, hey, it's going to be reformatted to increase readability. So the way that this is supposed to work is, actually it should be 1, 2, 3. Okay. The way that like references should be happening, let's get rid of this quote. When we say, according to the Los Santos Traffic Ordinance, Article 1, Section A, subsection 1, right? There needs to be a way to commonly refer to the different lines. And I think this kind of solves that right there. This is in accordance with that new legislation we pushed forward with all the, charges in it. There we go.
But wouldn't it be like Article 1, Section 1, then subsection 1.1, and so on and so forth?
What's going on, Carmine?
Hello, none of you saw me walk up here, did you?
I smelled you, if that counts.
I have many skills. Many skills.
Yeah, when was
Have
the
a
last
nice
time you
meeting.
took a shower, Carmine?
Have a great meeting.
All right, you
They
too.
smelled like alcohol and beer over here for some reason. I think he's drinking on the job.
Jesus. Very, very possible. What did we go with? We went with the number alphanumeric or alpha, like, so we went with so it can be any single, like, so we landed on number, letter, number, but yeah, we landed on number, letter, number, but it can be anything. Realistically, I think just everything that we do should follow the same standardization. Just so like one piece of legislation doesn't have one convention and then a different one has a different. But you could do number. That is also a thing. I think by swapping, going from number, letter to number, it's easier to communicate it So think about it this way. If I told you section 1, like 156, right? That's easy to pick up, but it's if you misheard the 5, right? You're expecting a letter, so you know whether or not you misheard it. If that kind of makes sense, by you know going in that direction. So pause. Let me get rid of the quote there. Okay, and then say section A. I'm gonna be honest. I think these previous ones up here could be rewritten, to be honest. Specifically, let me go like this, go like that. Actually, we're not even going to put a section on this one. Let's just send it. I do think this entire document probably could make use of a update. Like, I don't know why we split up description and enforcement. If I'm going to, like, this probably needs to be rewritten, but we'll just keep it that way just for sake of not having an article on enforcement, because I think that's strange to begin with. Do we even have an enforcement section? Like in other pieces of legislation? Where did that come from? I don't think we did. Okay, I'm going to assume that was just like made up at some point. So let's just rip that out. And then we got Article 4, which is driver and passenger obligations. And so we can do for pause and for Article 3 and for Article 4. Both of these, do you think it should be numbers or letters? I mean, I don't think it really matters, really. But
Nino. So the original, like, if you go to City Hall and you look at the original format from Bailey, there is enforcement and penalties in there.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a artifact of that template.
Ah, got you. I think this format should be fine. I think that might be let me see. I don't think we've been using it, have we?
I think we kind of steered away from it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right. I mean, to be fair, that template is also not like mandated. Traffic ordinances. Okay.
Yeah, it's a general format. So.
Makes sense. All right. What do you think of this? Wait, what is penalties? Under the Los Santos traffic will incorporate application charges for failing to adhere. Let me cut this out. I know this seems a little pedantic, possibly, the way I'm switching everything up here, but this is, I think, going to increase readability pretty dramatically. Normal. Traffic enforcement under the Los Santos Traffic Ordinance will be incorporated application for failing to... Okay. I'm okay with doing it this way. There we go. All right. There we go. And then we're going to do this and then go like this. And then history. amended by Nino Chavez on 5/6/25, reformatted the articles to be in line with current legislation, added Article 3 and 4. Okay. All right. Okay. How does this look?
I think we should look into changing the penalties here. So for like traffic enforcement under the Los Angeles traffic regulations, stop and go ordinance, right? We're specifically referencing stop and go here
Agreed.
and its functions, but it ignores everything else that's in here, such as, you know, driver and passenger obligation.
Do you think we even need this?
We could change it to relate to the penal code, right? Like the enforcement under the, you know, traffic regulation, you know,
Well, so
or adherence to the penal code or something.
right now it says, if we go back to stop and go, it says stop and go ordinance will alleviate unnecessary traffic related delays and conserve resources otherwise wasted through idling. By reestablishing the function of red traffic. Wait, this is all reasoning. Objective, all traffic. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, look.
You're
Okay.
seeing where I'm coming from here?
Yep. In fact, I think this is a much better way to write this. This is actually talking about what is stop and go. And then it should be done like this. All right. And then tell me what you think of this. I feel like this is how it should have been written to begin with. Like this. Like this. Honestly, this doesn't even need a section. So, those first couple lines are really just describing what Article 1 is, which in and of itself is just a description for what is stop and go. And like what the intention of it is. And then A, B, and C are what this article is gonna do. So all traffic lights within the jurisdiction is essentially functionally treated as stop signs. Vehicles must come to a complete stop. Traffic enforcement authorities are mandated to apply the same rules. Vehicle intentional failure to do so will result in the same penalties as ignoring stop signs. Like, these three things are what does this thing do. So I think separating out like that kind of makes a lot of sense. Objective all citizens. I think this looks a lot better. Let me get rid of that indent. I think the same thing can be done for GOI. Keep in mind, this was written like ages ago. So, Objective.
Should section B enforcement be there, like this bit here, like? Oh my, chatting rubbish.
I don't think so. I don't think so because, like, no other piece of legislation is like splitting up. No other piece of legislation is like split up in this manner. This is a very unique document in the way that it's written, because now I will say that there's probably a better way to do it, but are you saying, like, should it be titled with enforcement, or?
Oh no, well, just it's saying enforcement altogether. I don't think it should be there personally, but
Where do you wait? Hit the refresh button real quick. I just pulled the entire thing out.
2 secs.
I'm just noticing line C here. It's unnecessary. It's redundant pursuant to line B.
Agreed. Reformatting. Okay, I've updated the history, reformatting the articles to be in line with current legislation, remove redundancy in Article 1 and 2, added Article 3 and 4. I do think this could be written better. Like, we can subsection when it's necessary. I don't think it's always necessary. I think the way it's written, I think this looks good. All traffic signals within jurisdiction that will be treated as stop signs. Vehicles must come to a complete stop at red signs and may proceed only when safe. This should be here, like this. Traffic enforcement authorities are mandated to apply the same rules and penalties for a red traffic signal. I don't like how this is written. This line, it's a little confusing. Not to mention failure to obey. It's contingent on failure to obey traffic control device doesn't get reworded. Wait. All red lights within the jurisdiction of Los Santos County shall be... Wait a minute. I don't even think we need C. Because all red traffic signals within the jurisdiction of Los Santos County shall be treated as stop signs. That's it. We're sort of... Yeah, right? If they're treated as stop signs, that's C is obvious. I don't...
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of like over prescribing a judicial matter. Yeah, I'm just gonna boop. JOI, the citizens of Los Santos County enjoy their freedom of movement and express wish to expand it by decriminalizing jaywalking. This will alleviate traffic flow problems and remove some undue burden on the LSPD. All citizens of Los Santos may be free to jaywalk at their own discretion. The jaywalking charge will be fully decriminalized. Okay. Individuals who choose to jaywalk will do so knowing that they're liable for their own safety when doing so. Oh my God. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if anyone's referenced this in a civil case. I didn't even remember this was in here.
I'm just noticing, like, so line B, right under stop and go, by the same argument you just made, that C is redundant, B is also redundant.
All red traffic. I agree. I agree. I agree. Boom. Yeah, this is all. These are a little slightly overcooked. I keep in mind this is one of the oldest pieces of legislation we worked on. I don't want to touch these others too much. I think we're going down a rabbit hole right now. So
this section right here, as per this article, that's unnecessary.
It is, but how do we want to separate this description with
well, so this is like saying you're referencing the law when the following is the law.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Because I don't want to. We're getting really deep into this. I'm starting to realize. We're like massaging all of this in. I think let's just keep these lines as is. We can go back and like clean these up later. But I think that both A, B, C, D, we can clean those at a later point. But in regards to Article 3 and Article 4, do those look good? Or does that cover everything? It does? Okay.
I think so. I do want to point out, though, that this is actually part of what I was arguing earlier.
Okay.
So why not do those changes now? Because going back to do them later requires a separate filing.
Yeah. No, by all means. Let's do it. I just don't want to do it like right this immediate second because I don't want to keep everyone here, but simultaneously I got things that I got to get sorted as well. So if you could go and take a look at this and sort of clean up all these articles, how we chop them into separate bills, I can handle that bit. Yeah. Okay. Easy. Yeah. That way we're kind of working in parallel. Yeah. I see your point though, in that if a piece of legislation has a lot of rework, it would argue that we push everything at once, which I do agree with. The only bit that I think we were in contention with is if we need Article 4 in order to push Article 3 and there is a dependency, I agree, we got to send it together. However, in general, the bills should be self-encompassing. So if we're making any legislative, if there are, and I'm just going to give a simple example, is if we were wanting to, let's say hypothetically, we are making laws around fishing in Los Santos, right? And let's say like water laws. Let's say we were working on something with water laws. We would not want to, for example, make some changes in the space of fishing, right? At the same time, we wanted to make another change about how fast can you go in the water, right? Those are two different like things, even if they may touch the same article. Does that kind of make sense?
It does. I guess it's just a philosophical thing for me because I feel like front loading the work is better than back loading it.
The issue is that that's something that we've already agreed to do. And
Yeah,
so
nice.
we would be going back to an argument that it would go back to a topic that's already been kind of concluded on. It's one that we can revisit, but it would need all stakeholders to be present since,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
get you. I just feel
yeah.
obligated to voice, any concerns or anything like that.
As you should. It's just, if we hadn't moved on from that topic like a week ago, I think it'd be easier to open back up. But is this something you can do, Serenade? Is go through this, see if there's anything, some of this stuff can be rewritten. If you think it makes it clearer, because I do definitely think that, if you want to clean it up, that's perfectly fine. If we leave like Article 1 and 2 the way it is, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to get this to what its final form is, I can take it from there.
All right. Sounds good. I can do that.
Easy. All right. All right. Signy, how is everything on your end?
Pretty good. I've been thinking about like how to formulate the questions that we talked about yesterday. Haven't gotten too far yet, but I'm kind of cooking on the how to keep it brief and still get like the correct information out of it. Because it's very easy to get sidetracked with asking the wrong thing when we don't actually need to know the response, when there's more pressing issues that we need to figure out.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm working on it. I'll have something like drafted soon.
Okay. All right. Easy. I don't think, given that I'm going to be out for like 2.5 days, I'm not overly concerned with timing. So, I mean, there's enough like bandwidth there. It's better that our first survey is like our best. You know what I mean? Doesn't got to be perfect, but our best. And then what we learn from that, we'll be able to sort of, improve from each and every one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So taking our time with this one, figuring out the format, is a good idea.
Hell yeah. All right. Is there any other outstanding things we want to discuss?
Nothing from me.
Okay, easy. All right. I'm probably going to be very heads down because there's some other things I got to work on. Serenade, as soon as this document's done, let me know, and I'll cook up those bills and send them out. I think going into next week, I think what I would like to do is, because a lot of, I know Jason's out, Michael's got some tech issues, etc., etc. What I would like to do is sort of like sit back and get a understanding and list of things that we want to tackle over the next 3 months. And so my hope is that a lot of this new system we got in place, we can start like sort of rapid fire changes. And if some of those things work, they work. If they don't work, they don't work. So any little thing we want to change in law, the way things work around the city, I want to be able to, the sooner we can get changes done, we can see how they kind of, play out, so to speak. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
All
Is
right,
that can I think of a few business things to go on the list maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. My only key thing is it should be something that people are looking for, right? I don't think we should entertain too much experimentation, because I think what we've learned is if we come up with some sort of like experimental idea, it ends up falling flat, right? Because technically there's a lot of things we can just do. Most of the stuff from a legal perspective is, like, for example, if we want to do anything legally, like we can, in the business space, we can do those things, right? I don't think anything prohibits us, and therefore doesn't necessarily require legislation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. But if there's a project you want to run, like let's go for it. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. I'll cook some things up because I got a couple of things in the back of my mind, but I just need to develop the ideas a bit more.
Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. Beautiful. All right. I'm gonna get to cooking. I think the court case is like in 2.5 hours, so I need to get to cooking here. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Y'all stay safe.
All right.
You too.
Oh my God, we got so much, bruh. I'm glad I was able to show like kind of like some of these older articles do need further massaging. Yeah, we'll keep those bits there. All right, there we go. Do we need